Do you want to help us shape the future of this podcast? You can have a direct impact by heading to iaskhistory.com and filling out a 2-minute survey to tell us what you want to hear on this show. Head to the first link in the show notes at iaskhistory.com and help us define the future of Talk with History. Imagine it's July 30th, 1954. It's a thick, humid Friday night in Memphis, Tennessee. The air at Overton Park is heavy, the kind of southern heat that sticks to your skin. But there's a buzzing energy coming from the 4,000 people packed into the grass in front of the Shell. They've come to see a local variety show, but there's a name on the poster that looks a little unfamiliar. It says Elvis Presley. Backstage, 19-year-old truck driver is pacing. He's not wearing the conservative suits of the crooners of the era. He's draped in head-to-toe bright pink pants, pink shirt, and a long, narrow tie provided by the Lansky brothers on Beale Street. He's absolutely terrified. 3 weeks ago, he recorded a song called That's All Right Mama. It's been playing on the radio, but he's never done this. Not like this. Not in front of a crowd this size. He walks out onto that stage, the wood echoing under his boots. He looks out at the sea of faces, grips his guitar, and the music starts. But then something happens. His leg starts to shake. He's so nervous, his knees are knocking together, and he begins to jiggle just to keep from falling over. Suddenly, a sound rises from the front row that hasn't been heard in American music before. It's a piercing, collective scream from the women in the audience. Elvis stops. He goes backstage after his 2 songs, confused. He asks his manager, "Did I do something wrong? Why are they hollering at me?" The answer was simple. They weren't hollering because he's made a mistake. They were hollering because they were witnessing the birth of a revolution. Welcome to Talk with History. I'm your host, Scott, here with my wife and historian, Jen.
Hello.
On this podcast, we give you insights to our history-inspired world travels, YouTube channel journey, and examine history through deeper conversations with the curious, the explorers, and the history lovers out there. All right, Jen. So this is an audio exclusive episode today. So for our podcast listeners, this is for you. Now, Elvis, obviously being us here in Memphis, is a very, very popular topic on our channel. Seems to always do very well. So we would want to do some more Elvis history this year.
Yeah, it's the 250th birthday of America, and Elvis is popular because I think he's that American dream story. We live here in Memphis, so there's a lot of Elvis history here. A lot of people who know the Elvis history here because he never really left his hometown after 13 years old. He moves here at 13. But his birthday is the beginning of the year. His birthday is January 8th, 1935. And so they usually do something at Graceland. They usually have a birthday cake and a birthday proclamation, but it's usually very cold.
Yeah.
It's like it could be snowing and it could be rainy and it's miserable and it's early in the morning. And I never go because of that. And you get your diehard fans that are out there. And actually, Lisa Marie, that was one of her last appearances before she passed 3 years ago.
Oh, I didn't know that.
She went to her dad's birthday celebration on January 8th, and she passes January 12th.
Wow.
So it was the last time people really saw her. So it's very interesting how close.
Yeah. And I remember when she passed away, because we were literally podcasting in our living room in Norfolk, Virginia, when we were wrapping up an episode. And either you or I,
the news broke.
But the news broke. Mm-hmm. And so we ended the episode. We jumped on, we just kind of started a live stream and just started talking about it. And and unfortunately we were on our other channel, our Talk with History audio channel, and it took off, and we had tens of thousands of people because we were kind of one of the first to jump on a live stream and talk about it.
It was like a reaction because I had just seen her at the birthday celebration. We had lived in Norfolk at that time, but she had just been to the Golden Globes.
Yeah, that's right.
Because Elvis had just been in the Golden Globes. Yeah, the movie. So she was just making a public appearance. So it was just very raw, that feeling. So, but this year for his birthday, January 8th, it was like 60 degrees.
It was perfect weather.
It was no rain. I could get over there very easily. So I took the kids to school, got in the car, drove, parked, and walked up as they are doing the birthday proclamation. There might have been maybe 100 people there.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is fantastic. Now, no family members had come this year, but they had sent flowers. So he definitely, he has Priscilla, his ex-wife, but he has 3 granddaughters, and they now own Graceland, but none of them were there. And so he had an old friend, Jerry Schilling. He was there and he was talking. So I was able to walk over to the gravesite when no one was there because they were all at the birthday proclamation.
Yeah, so you basically had it all to yourself. You walked up and kind of filmed a short little video.
It was amazing because if you know anything about anything about Elvis's birthday or the week of his death, August 16th, a lot of his fan clubs will send wreaths.
Yep.
And very specific wreaths to his birthday. And so I got to film all of those. I got to film his site. I got to film Lisa Marie before somebody came over and said, no one's allowed to be here.
Yeah.
So I got very lucky.
Yeah. Well, and just so people know, it's not like she snuck up there, because every day from, what is it, like 7 to 8, they let the public just walk up to his gravesite.
Yeah. So it's open every day.
For free.
For free.
You can walk up there. You can't go inside Graceland without a ticket, but you can walk up and visit his actual gravesite where he's buried next to his parents and some of his family for free every day. So that's what you walked up there, just kind of assuming that was still the case.
Yeah. And knowing that, I'm a local.
Yeah.
Right. So I was just going to go up and take some video. And then they said, you can't be here. Oh, I was like, that's fine. So I walk over just as they're singing happy birthday. So I sing happy birthday. And then I get to take pictures of the cake. Now, know that the cake is styrofoam. And they put just a little piece.
I couldn't tell from the video.
It's beautiful. And then they have free cake for everybody.
That's cool.
Across the street, and everybody can have a piece of cake and celebrate Elvis's birthday.
Yeah, it's one of those things that as a local, it's fun for us to go to these kind of yearly events at Graceland, because you get all sorts of interesting characters out there, hardcore Elvis fans, people who were alive and remember, hearing the news when he passed. And
yes.
So it's always fun for us to kind of go over there, because Elvis is one of those rare, just global phenomena that is known literally throughout the entire world and has had an impact on probably every single person on this planet. So it's always a big thing, because there are people who are very, very emotional about Elvis and who care deeply about kind of what he left behind. And so it was cool for us to do another video on this topic.
And I respect that.
Yeah.
Right. So even in the line, I am one of those people, I engage with the public because I'm a historian. So I met these 4 women in the line. If they are listening to it, I gave them all my card, but they're part of an Elvis Presley fan club and have been for years.
Yeah.
And they're from all around the world, and they've met each other. And now they always get together, the 4 of them, once a year in Graceland.
Yeah.
And it was just amazing to hear their stories, where they were when they heard Elvis died, what Elvis meant to them, how much they've come to the candlelight vigils for his passing, his birthday celebrations. Like, they're very much inundated in doing this as a group.
Yeah.
And it was very neat to hear from all different, from Europe. Like, it was just amazing. And so it was great to engage with them, and then to have the birthday cake. And if you know anything about Elvis Presley as well, he would leave his Christmas decorations up until after his birthday.
Yeah, that was a thing. Everybody said, "Oh, you got to leave them up at least until January 8th."
Yes. So I show you some of the Christmas decorations as well, because he has a great, huge nativity set and stuff like that. So it was neat. I never had gotten to do that before, and I never, because of the weather, I wasn't gonna. And we've done his Death Week, and we've done, they call it Elvis Week here, and they're kind of like vigil. But to do this was super cool. So it got me thinking about the 250th birthday of America, the 91st birthday of the King of Rock and Roll. And it got me thinking to more of firsts of Elvis Presley, because Elvis Presley really was that groundbreaking first in so many ways when it came to music. And because we're celebrating America 250, what else first could we really do? And we've always talked about doing Overton Park Shell.
Yeah.
We have been in the location when we did Memphis Belle. It's kind of a central park here in Memphis.
Yeah, it's like a downtown, like you said, like what New York has their Central Park, right? Mm-hmm. This is the park area in central Memphis.
Yeah, we have an art museum there. The zoo is there. And this Overton Park Shell, which was a music venue. They used to do operas and musicals there. And it was built in the 1930s, during the Depression era, it was one of those works projects administration from President Roosevelt's New Deal, where they gave jobs to people to protect the culture of America.
Yeah, building up the infrastructure as well as some cultural stuff.
But it's one of the only Depression era band shells still active.
Yeah.
So it's super neat. Think of the Hollywood Bowl. It looks like a bowl kind of set low, and then it kind of gradually goes up in elevation. So when the people sit, the shell is a little bit further down, but the acoustics will reach out at you. So it's really neat how it's set up, because it really lends itself to hearing good music.
Yeah, well, and that's why, and we'll talk about it a little bit, there were so many famous musicians, not just Elvis, that performed there over the years.
Yeah, so when we went there, and again, it's Memphis. It gives us great access to things. If you're going to do like an Elvis Presley kind of tour of Memphis, like we've done the mausoleum where Elvis was first buried, you can go to where he lived. You can go to his original house before Graceland. And this Overton Park Shell is just available to you to go walk on the stage and take pictures. And so we were there, and we actually met someone who runs the tour behind it. We didn't even know there was a tour behind it.
There's like a backstage area. If you go and watch, we're not doing a video version of this podcast, but if you go and watch our video from Overton Park Shell, and I'll link that in the show notes, if you look at the shell itself, and you'll see like in the center of the shell, as kind of like the backdrop of the narrowest point, is this what looks like a blue record. And it's probably 8-9 feet tall. Mm-hmm. Behind that, there's actually a door that goes behind the Overton Park Shell. Think like that's where a green room would be for artists that are performing. There's a restroom back there. They've kind of turned it into this little kind of mini backstage tour type thing that you can museum. Do. It was really cool.
It was really neat. They had a lot of the flyers and the photographs, and it really told the story of Overton Park Shell. So again, this was built in the 1930s, named for the park, Overton Park. And what happens is they start doing a lot of like concerts. And so what happens with Elvis Presley is he has just performed That's All Right Mama at Sun Studio on July 5th of 1954. Sam Phillips has taken that record over to the local DJ, Dewey Phillips, no relation. And Dewey Phillips plays this record, and people start calling.
They say, hey, play it again. Play it again. It's been on repeat for days.
And so then they go and find Elvis Presley to interview him on the show, because everyone thinks he's African-American.
Yeah.
So they make sure he says what high school he goes to, because think this is 1954, there's still segregation. Yeah. So when he says what high school they go to, they're like, this is a white boy. So it's very interesting. He's starting to do this bridging of culture, and the song is getting played a lot. And so what is the next concert coming up in Memphis where he can be a part of the opening acts? And so 3 weeks later, there's a concert at Overton Park Shell, and the headliner is this country singer, Slim Whitman. So they put Elvis on the poster, but they don't even spell his name right.
Yeah.
So they don't even know who he is.
They spell it Ellis, Ellis.
Yeah, so if you can see the original poster, it's really
awesome.
funny.
I show it in the video.
And so if you're a fan of the channel, you know he goes to Lansky Brothers, which is a clothing store right on Beale Street. So Beale Street is the African-American street location. If you saw the movie Elvis, it's where he's getting a lot of this inspiration of sound. And so the clothing is more colorful, and he picks out a pink outfit, pink pants, and a pink shirt with a long tie, which they lend to it in the movie Elvis.
Yes, they do show that, although I don't think when he's wearing it, it's not the same location. Yeah. They're not making it look like he's at the Overton Park Shell.
But they're doing this moment.
Yeah.
So again, it's if you know anything about living in the South in the summer, this is July 30th, 8 p.m.
So hot.
It's a hot evening, right? Like you said, it's muggy. At least the sun has gone down, but people are sitting here. And if you look at the shelf sits further down. So when he gets out on stage, his pelvis or his
waist
is eye level to these 4,000 people.
Yeah.
And again, he's nervous. He's never performed in public. His song is big, so it's the only song he really knows. And he starts to shake his leg with the music and the nervousness. It's kind of a twofold thing. Yeah. He's kind of moving his leg with the music, and he's nervous. And he's wearing these big pleated pink pants, right? They're not cuffed at the bottom. And so they shake right? The fabric is very loose, and so it's moving.
Yeah, the movie, if you guys haven't watched the Elvis movie, who is the director, Baz Luhrmann?
Yes.
If you haven't watched the Elvis movie, they do a great job of showing that scene and how the women just start going crazy for Elvis.
That really happened.
Yeah.
And so, because people had just never seen that before.
Yeah.
And we reviewed that movie too, if you want to watch that, because again, you can't live in Memphis without knowing Elvis history. And so he plays That's All Right Mama and Blue Moon of Kentucky, the two songs he knows. People are screaming. He doesn't really know what that reaction is. As you would if you've never seen a Beatlemania, if you've never seen someone, he's the beginning of this.
Yeah, because that wasn't a thing. Well, and one thing that our tour guide, Cole, mentioned to us was the sound not only projects from the stage, but it also is going to kind of focus at the people on the stage. Mm-hmm. So all these women screaming, he said that there were musicians that would say it sounded like a train when they're up on stage sometimes because it's so loud. And so he just kind of had this reaction when he got off. He's like, did I do something wrong?
Yeah. So he didn't know if it was good or bad, if they didn't like his music, and it wasn't booze exactly, but he didn't know what that reaction was. And the manager there said, no, they love it. Get out there and do it again. And again, he doesn't know any other songs.
Yeah.
So he goes out and does That's All Right Mama and Blue Moon of Kentucky again. Now, because he's starting to get this reaction and he's starting to feel, I think, optimistic and probably confident in his performance. Because you have to know this kid has never performed before.
He keeps doing the shake.
He keeps doing the shake.
Yeah.
Right? He just kind of makes it as part of his routine now. Because, again, think about Elvis Presley. He's stumbled into this.
Yeah.
And so this is his first time with showmanship. Now we think of Elvis Presley at Vegas and how he can really work an audience and all of them. Well, this is the beginning of all of it.
Yeah, it was such a lightning in a bottle type moment, right? You capture this moment, and luckily for us, looking back on it, 50 plus years later, we got to see at least what the some of the printout posters were, and hear some of the stories after the fact. Like, there's really no photos. I think there's a couple photos that I put in the video, but I don't know if they're exactly from that night, because he actually performs again like a week or two later.
Yes.
And so I think that time they actually get some more cameras out there. And so some of the pictures I show, I think, are actually from August 7th. This was July 30th, because I think news got around like, hey, we have something here.
Yes. No one's expecting this.
Right.
And through the years, Elvis will come back to Overton Park Shell and perform some more.
Yeah.
And he, again, it gets to the point where he is a huge draw, and it's going to be too much where he's going to have to go to other places that have bigger venues because he's such a huge draw. But there's a picture of him and Carl Perkins signing each other's autographs.
Yeah,
right?
kind of just like in jest.
In jest. And so he really is, again, appreciates where he comes from, and he remembers Overton Park Shell. And now it's going to become a venue for like Johnny Cash, Carl Perkins, Isaac Hayes. The Allman Brothers are going to perform there. You have a picture of that in the video.
They have a couple really good pictures. There's some big names that played there.
Yeah, Roy Orbison and Lisa Marie will perform there.
Yeah, Bonnie Raitt. I grew up, my parents loved Bonnie Raitt.
Exactly. And so the history of Overton Park Shell is they go through, again, anything else. They're culturally, they get into the 60s. There's a lot of those kind of rockers, Black Sabbath and things like that, ZZ Top. And then they want to stay away from that kind of lifestyle because they feel like they're bringing on some of the riffraff. So they go into like yacht rock, easy listening, Survivor. And then that kind of loses steam. And so then the Shell loses steam. And there's two times that people try to tear it down, basically. They tried to make a interstate through there, and they tried to make a theater for the art museum. And both times it's saved by grassroots movements. People who are like, no, let's save the Shell. It means so much to American history, it means so much to our city. And at one point, it's saved by the Levitt Foundation. And from 2005 to 2022, it's named Levitt Shell. So you might see that.
That's actually how we first knew it, because we lived here during that initial time.
And so they replaced the Overton Park with Levitt Shell, and they did like 600 free concerts. 150,000 people came to see those concerts. They really did revitalize it.
Yeah.
But in 2022, they went back to their original name, Overton Park Shell. Now they're celebrating their 90th anniversary. Yeah. They're going to be doing free concerts again. And if you're an Elvis fan, I definitely make it out there. Do that tour behind in the back area, because it was so neat. You're standing there in the green room where Elvis Presley stood.
Oh, yeah. And all these famous musicians.
It's super neat to stand there and to be there and to learn the history of this. It was a great surprise. And I was really happy we did it.
Yeah. One of the things that, again, our tour guide, we kind of unexpectedly came upon him and he gave us a tour, was he mentioned they believe that it's likely that Elvis's father probably helped build the shell in the 30s because it was a WPA project, and Elvis's father actually worked in some of those projects in the Memphis area. So there was a good chance that his father actually kind of helped build this bandstand.
Yeah.
That launched his son's, global stardom.
It's just so amazing. And it's so amazing to stand on that stage and kind of move your hips and be like, I'm here where this all happened. Like, it was super neat to do that and to be there. I had read something. This Overton Park Shell is part of like a music trail you can do through Tennessee. And they say that more songs and songwriters and music come out of Tennessee than anywhere else in the world.
Yeah, I believe that.
And that is super neat to be a part of that and to stand there and do that. So if you get a chance, this is a part of American history, part of Elvis history, America 250, that American Dream story. And again, one of the only Depression era band shells that still exists. So get out there and see it and be a part of American history.
It's easy to look back at the night in 1954 and see the legend we know now, the gold suits, the flashing lights of Vegas, the global icon. But when you stand on the boards at the Overton Park Shell, you realize that history isn't just about the person, it's about the place. There's a beautiful, quiet irony in the dust of that stage. Nearly 2 decades before Elvis stepped into those pink pants, his father, Vernon, was likely out there in the Memphis heat, swinging a hammer or hauling stone as part of the WPA. Think about that for a second. The father helps build the foundation during the Great Depression at a time of struggle and rebuilding for the nation. Then 18 years later, his son stands on that very foundation and launches a cultural explosion that would define the American century. The shell wasn't just a backdrop, it was an instrument. Its perfect acoustics carried those first nervous notes of Blue Moon of Kentucky across the park and straight into the future. From the New Deal laborers who poured the concrete to the rock legends like Johnny Cash and Black Sabbath who followed in Elvis's footsteps, the stage has always been about the American spirit of starting something new. Elvis left the building that night, but he left something behind in Memphis that still vibrates in the air at Overton Park today. It reminds us that sometimes things you're most nervous about, that jiggle in your step or that tremor in your voice, is actually the spark that's going to light up the world. Thanks for walking through history with us today. If you enjoyed this trip to Memphis, make sure to head over to our YouTube channel, Walk with History, to see the shell for yourself and stand where the king first shook the world. We'll talk to you next time.
Thank you.
This has been a Walk with History production. Talk with History is created and hosted by me, Scott Benny. Episode researched by Jennifer Benny. Check out the show notes for links and references mentioned in this episode. Talk with History is supported by our community at thehistoryroadtrip.com. Our eternal thanks go out to our lifetime members to help keep us going. Thank you to Doug Liberty, Larry Myers, Patrick Benny, Gail Cooper, Kristen Coates, Calvin Gifford, Courtney Sanini, Gene Noah, Larry Mitchell, Tommy Anderson, Susan Sulis, Bruce Lynch, Dino Garner, Mark Barrett, Ron Kennedy, and John Simpson. Make sure you hit that follow button in that podcast player, and we'll talk to you next time.